Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. V back with another casted game of Age of Empires 3. Now, do you ever wonder if you could go back to the times where things were simpler, where there were only 8 civs and all of the matchups seemed so simple, back when everything was just vanilla as vanilla can be? Well, you're in luck, because here we are in Florida watching one of no controversy, okay? No second guessing myself. This is the most vanilla matchup you will ever see. It's a historical grudge match, so let's dive into it. In the north of the map, playing in the color red as the French. A lot of French on this channel and a lot of French on the lanner currently. It's Agelos or Agelos. I'm going to call him Ag because I can't spell or pronounce usernames correctly. And his opponent in the south of the map, playing in the color blue as the British. We have his opponent, Mac. Nice, simple username. Why can't they all be like that? He is going with the double manor and the market, though I am pretty sure on this map, Florida, you do get the market start automatically because France did also go for a trading post. Going to be really good for both civs, and it kind of cancels out the advantage for either, though I would say that early market is going to be especially good for Brits, and if they go for the hunting dogs early, it's going to be extra good because, of course, Brit will be getting more villagers, which means that 10% upgrade will be just a little bit more valuable. Now, the reason why I picked this game, it's only about a 1700 elo game, so nothing crazy, but the reason why I picked it is I've been really hungering for some vanilla stuff, right? You know, with all the DE mechanics, every once in a while, not often, but I just want to be nostalgic and go back to a civ and a matchup that I know well. And the other reason, as we see, what is relax? Oh no! Egg! Oh, dropping the explicit language with his explorer name there. I'll let you guys read that. It's very comical, but we try to keep it PG here. He is going to be going for this 75 XP treasure, and he's doing a fairly nice job kiting it. He does get the crack shot, is getting a nice few hits on this alligator, though. These alligators do quite a bit of attack, so it is going to take a decent amount off his explorer, and he's got to get that treasure gathered up. If the British explorer had been there, that would have been a prime steal opportunity. But meanwhile, Elizabeth, who is nicknamed Poe, is collecting 70 wood. Certainly a better treasure in my mind than the 75 XP. Now, the reason why I really like British versus French is I actually, during my day job, the reason I've been so busy and why uploads have been a bit sporadic, sorry about that. But, you know, we're back on a consistent basis. So I'm not planning to make that a habit as we see Mac go into H2 with the governor. The governor boy, here we go. So during my day job, I teach United States history, right? Specifically early history. And so I talk about the French and the British a bunch, right? Because one of the big things I just finished covering was the American Revolution. Now, I don't know how the American Revolution gets covered in like other countries, but in our country, the United States, we spend like months on it. As far as I know, maybe I'll have to ask Lionheart about this, though he probably doesn't remember anything from school. I don't think people in the UK actually spend hardly any time on the Revolutionary War. But, you know, the thing that's so interesting about that war is the reason that it was caused was because of a war between the French and the British, the French and Indian War, which put the British in a ton of debt, which the colonists then were coerced into paying, and they chose to rebel instead. And during that rebellion, they were helped by the French, the nation that they went to war with, which caused the debt, which put them at war with Britain. It's very, very complicated. So anyways, I saw French versus British, and I was like, I could go for a bowl of vanilla ice cream because, man, it doesn't get more plain than this. But plain does not mean bad, all right? Just like buttered toast, it can still be very, very yummy. In fact, we're seeing Ag go with the stable start, went with the quartermaster, and let's take a look at his deck. 3 settlers followed by 700 wood. Oh no, that's Mac's deck. Hold on. What's Agelos's deck? Okay, 3 CDB, 4 CDB, and then 700 wood. I like that. We saw Julian go with the 700 wood right away as a second card last time we saw French, and I certainly think that's viable, though missing out on that 4 CDB right away, especially since you have the trading post. Oh man, it doesn't feel right in my vanilla gamer brain. Speaking of Mac's deck, let's see what he sent. 3-vil, 700 wood. Probably going to follow that up with 4-vil or maybe 600 wood. Are we going to be seeing a manor boom? We do have a bit of a forward barracks here, though nothing super aggressive. We're not going to be seeing any sort of black watch, any shenanigans here that you might see from certain Revolt players we know. But he's getting 5 pike out, and I like that. He must have scouted. Yeah, okay, he scouted the stable start. This is why scouting, ladies and gentlemen, is so important. These pikes are going to be able to do a lot of harass, and aside from Minutemen being called, there's really nothing that Ag can do immediately to stop them. So they could possibly take out this trading post, and meanwhile, we see, what are the Cav doing? He still has 2 pikemen back home. The Cav could brute force their way through it, though it would not be the best trade. They are going to pick up a villager here, currently 25 for Mac and 20 CDBs for Ag. So actually pretty even economies. And this is the one thing about splitting up your pikes in H2. It does allow you to cover more ground, but it does make your pikes a lot more viable to just mass cav. They can just kind of be brute force down, and is also going to pick up the French explorer here. That's what he gets for cursing in one of my videos. And he's going to pick up this trading post as well, which is actually an excellent pickup. Yes, he did lose 2 pikemen and a villager, possibly lost another one here. I don't think so, though. He is getting out so many pikes, and France already getting the barracks down. And it looks like he's going to follow up some more Hussar and some muskets as well. And he is not really in any sort of condition to go up to H3. So maybe he's going to be playing this out in H2, or maybe this 700 coin is going to be a move to H2 or H3. Well, okay, I was just going to say his macro did not look like H3, but now with all of those transitioning over to food, I think we are going to be seeing a semi-FF here, and now longbows on the field and another villager being picked up. So France has been fairly successful with these villager raids, but now Britain is on 30 villagers already, and he's sending 6 longbows. That seems like a bit of an overcommit, I'm not going to lie. I don't think he needs 6 longbows here. I think 700 coin or 4 villager would be far more useful to him right now. This feels like too much, right? But, I mean, he's certainly not going to, he's certainly got, ooh, really nice catch here. He's going to catch up at least 2 Hussars here, a 3rd Hussar. That's 600 resources for free. Give me those trades, baby. Oh, I love that. But the SARs pulling a Yui here. They're going to still be trying to get in the back of the base. And maybe these 6 longbows are going to come in handy. And it looks like he's going to be throwing this into a timing push. 8 minutes. And this actually might be really good. Ag has just clicked up into H3 with the Exiled Prince, so he will be up very quick. The one thing that worries me here is Ag has done a very good job building his base. He does have CDBs. He could get great code on these guys, and he's got TC Fire. And while pikes are very good, they are also fairly squishy. So if he uses his musks well, but oh, these longbows in the back. Oh no, they're going to be able to take out so many of these musks, and they're going to be doing, excuse me, I can't speak English. It is my #1 language and my only language. I always think it's funny how, you know, I can only speak one language and I can hardly speak it at all. And yet there are people that watch this channel that can speak at least 2, if not 3 languages. Oh man, they must think I am absolutely pathetic. But this is a fairly decent push. I like how the Hussars are not being drawn back to fight. They would be useless anyways. He's just continuing to bell up villagers. 25 CDBs to 32. So he must have picked up another bill. I'll have to see the graph because these Hussars for Ag have done well. Losing a lot of infrastructure here. He needs a shipment, and what is it going to be? It's just arrived. 8 skirm coming out. And against H2 longbows, as long as they're effectively able to kite, they will do well. And he's picking off the longbows with his TC. So it certainly doesn't feel great for French right now, but he is not out of it in any way, shape, or form. And Mac is nowhere near getting aged up to H3, though if he keeps more of these vills on food, he's already at 900 coins, so he could do it. He did send 700 coins, so I think we are going to be seeing Mac follow Ag into H3 before he can really utilize this tech advantage. But one thing we have to remember is that Brit does not have a fast age up. No exile prints for these guys, though he is going to pick up 2 CDBs with the old the old 14 pike raid. I love it. Oh man. Oh, do you guys hear that sweet, creamy, better English voiceover mod that I've got installed? Oh, I love that mod. And I don't know the name of the voice actor who did the pikes, but I think the way he did the pikemen are so great. And if Mac would make any muskets, I could show you a little bit of it, a sample from yours truly, but oh, that longbow is also so good. Oh, so much better than the mod where it's just kind of that old English that you can't really understand. I mean, I get that that's how the British people spoke, you know, way long ago, but set in this time period, like late 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, it just feels a little bit outdated. So I love the better English voiceover mod. Shout out to Iron Kaiser. I always link that mod in the description below, so you guys should definitely give it a download. Okay, it doesn't affect multiplayer, obviously. Doesn't affect single player, doesn't affect stats in any way. It just gives you a better British voice experience. Meanwhile, let's get back to the game because Mac is going up to age 3. He does have a lot of pikes. And what does he have in age 3? He does have, okay, he's got yeomen. He's got musketeer upgrades, cav upgrades, a lot of military upgrades. The one thing I'm seeing in this Brit deck is there is not a single eco upgrade in this entire deck. He's got a ton of infantry upgrades. Like, he could 3-card his musketeers right now. That is absolutely insane. And what do we see Ag doing? He's got a lot of skirms out. He's got a few halberdiers just in case any hussars come out. But, I mean, Mac doesn't have a stable at the moment. Just the one barracks that's been pumping out pikes and longbows nonstop. But these pike longbow armies, they feel good up until like the 10-12 minute mark. And then the 2 falconets arrive, and then they just feel really not great. And there's enough veteran skirms here to support these longbows. Now, I think undoubtedly we're going to be seeing the 2 falconets, and this is how so many, oh my god, talk about vanilla. This is how so many vanilla matches go, right? It's just 2 falc versus 2 falc, and whoever kills the other guy's 2 falcs wins the game. Most of the time, actually, it ends up that they just end up killing each other's falcons, and it just kind of cancels out. At least that's what I see a lot of high-level players do, right? Like we just saw in the past game, Julian versus Irish. They basically just suicided their falcons into each other. And it doesn't have a huge effect on the game, but, you know, we did see Julian then continue to make falconets, which was certainly very good. Getting veteran longbows, following it up with veteran pike. I don't know if I love the choice to continue investing in veteran pikemen. I think a switch to veteran muskets would be far better. Just because pikemen, they lack that versatility. They do have the siege, but getting the veterancy upgrade on these guys, I don't know. Oh no, wrapping up his guns. This could be the fatal moment. No, he's gonna get away. Oh, I feel like those British falconets were almost in range. Elizabeth going down again. Oh, shut up, you dirty pirate. Oh man. I do like that the better English voiceover mod didn't attempt to revoice the heroes, because those are very well voiced, so I like that they kept those. All right, falconets once again getting into proximity with each other, but neither choosing to unpack. We have veteran pike and veteran longbow versus veteran skirm and veteran halberd, even a few dragoons mixed in. I certainly like the French army better, but you guys know me, a Dutchman. I am a sucker for veteran skirmishers. I love them so much. And now veteran hussars coming in for Mac. Interesting, as he has no hussars on the field at the moment. Oh, but we see the heavy cav switch coming in from Ag, and this might be just what the doctor ordered. What do we got over here? Ooh, we got a nice catch of hussar, though did they pick up a couple of CDBs? It's 34 CDB to 42 villagers. Taking into account the extra efficiency of the CDBs, I actually don't think the villager lead is that large. I mean, you take CDBs, which are 1.25 of like a normal vill, And yeah, I feel like the ecos are pretty much even. And we do have to keep in mind that Ag does have one trading post, and things are not looking good in the food department for Mac. He's got so many scattered villagers out here. And now these 8 curs, these guys could do a ton of damage, even against the veteran pikes. If they're able to do that splash and they have enough support from the veteran halbs, you know, get in there, tank some damage, because veteran halbs will beat veteran pikes in melee. That's just an easy cleanup. And then you have the skirms in the back. Now, it's gonna come down, again, to the 2 Falcons. And the one thing I will say for Mac that I really like is I love his manor placement. He now knows the full composition of the French army, and he even knows the location of the falconets. So he's put himself in a very advantageous position here. But, ooh, no. Oh, man, he could have gotten a free volley on the longbows there. And does Ag? No, Ag does not see the falconets. So I think, oh man, line of sight could play a huge role in who wins this next fight. But both players just continuing to mass. And Ag even adding in some dragoons. So definitely a more varied composition. But I feel like, you know, especially for lower level players, probably not at this level, but the more units you throw in, it can actually start to become a curse, because you try to control all of those units and you just kind of end up missing out on some of your micro. But now the veteran Hussars are pushing in, but there is so much here to block it. And this is going to be a good engagement for France here if the curs can get in. But both falconets, they need to stick on the infantry, both firing at each other. One falconet for France is down, another one for Britain is down, and the British are going to win the falcon fight, but at what cost? Because the curs are dumping on these pikemen. And this, oh my god, the splash attack. The veteran pikes just have a seat. All of the veteran hussars going down. Still quite a few skirmishers in the back. And there are still enough curs to absolutely open up a can of whoop ass on those longbows. Oh man. There's nothing more delicious than a heavy cap switch, is there? But that is a clean win for France, and now he can basically raid the back with impunity. But as I say that, 5 more veteran hussar and veteran pikemen coming in here as well. And there is very little anti-cav here, just a couple of dragoons, and there's enough pike here to keep everything snared, there's the word, snared down. And oh my god, here comes the switch, and now it's Britain that's clapping some cheeks. Oh man, that's got to be satisfying. This is literally the French and Indian War playing out in real time. France takes that early advantage, and then the British just say, oh yeah, I got more than you do. And they end up winning the war. Who knew that you'd learn some history today along with this entertaining commentary? But 5 curs and 5 dragoons, that is not a big army, but it is a powerful army, and it can kill almost any number of pikemen. And these dragoons, they can still one-shot these veteran pikes quite easily. And we do have 39 CDB versus 66 villagers. Okay, I said that the egos weren't that far off before, but now it's starting to get a little obscene. Full manor pop for Britain. And he's going right back to that band of villagers that he knows is there. And oh no, you gotta be careful. If the enemy scouts a herd, you either have to get an outpost down or you have to move the location of your villagers. 3 CDBs going down there. And if Mac plays his card rights, he could get out of this without losing anything. A 4th CDB going down, a 5th CDB going down. And that was a beautiful raid by Mac. Way to use his prior knowledge there. But it looks like France is going to want to get his get back. He wants to make him pay. And there's a lot of curs in here, but there's a lot of veteran pikemen as well. Oh, and the curs, what is Egg doing? He's moving around so much. He's losing so much HP for free on those curs. And yeah, I would have to call that a bit of miss micro on Ag's part. He's got to pull in these CDBs. They could do so much extra damage in this fight. If you think about it, CDBs, I mean, they have 8 ranged attack, which doesn't sound like not a lot, but 14 CDBs, that's over like 100 ranged attack that he could have put down on these veteran hussars. I still think he's going to win the fight, but lost so many villagers there. Now only at 36, and Mac is at 69. Let's go. What a magical number. And Britain, oh man, he's getting down an arsenal. His villagers are going to be able to gather pretty much unimpeded. 36 villagers on food. How do you beat Britain when they have 36 vills on food and 18 on wood, 13 on coin? He's being able to double batch veteran Hussar without much issue. He's got 1,000 coins stacked up, 800 wood, doesn't even matter. The only thing that's limiting him right now is food, and he's even getting another pike raid on these CDBs. Though he did lose a lot of pikes there, they are basically free for him at this point. But man, if he's able to get another big batch of veteran Hussars and maybe even veteran longbows here, I think the veteran pikes, I think that's a bad move. I think he really needs to switch. The pikemen are just, I don't know, against skirms and curs, it just doesn't feel very efficient, I will say. But quite a few exposed villagers here on this coin mine, 17 villagers, and I mean, Egg, if he wants to stay in this fight, he's got to pull off some sort of big raid. He needs to catch a lot of villagers here all at once, but now Mac is double queuing dragoons, and he's going to be able to chase him away. He knows Ag is getting antsy. He knows that Ag is behind. He's down 5k score, and now he's even got 3 falconets on the map, which ordinarily I would really like. But because Mac has gone so cav heavy with his composition, those 3 falcons are really only going to slow him down. Now, he has gone into veteran musketeers as well. So overall, if it can get an engagement, it will do very well against this British army. But this British army, they will get to pick when they want to fight and not the other way around. And there might be enough British dragoons there to just brute force any falconets down. I don't know. I don't know what Egg's plan is here. I don't know if he's going to just try and burn down a bunch of infrastructure here. It's possible. Oh my god, look at the amount of dragoons Mac has gotten out. 20 goons, along with a bunch of veteran Hussars. Skirmishers getting caught. Falconets easily getting kited down here. Though he's not focusing the falconets, actually, which is not a bad idea because the falconets aren't really his biggest threat right now. His biggest threat are the veteran musketeers. The falcons are all going to go down. Well, no, one might stay up in the back. All of the veteran Hussars are down. But, I mean, Mac is pouring in resources. 76 vills versus 41. A fort now coming out from Ag. And that's not going to be enough. Oh, man, another falconet going down. That's 1,500 resources. Oh, and another falcon is over here. This is going to be 2,000 lost resources for what? I mean, 6 or 7 vet Hussar and a handful of dragoons? Oh, and that is going to be game. Britain sealing the deal. And there was a moment there where I really thought France was in the driver's seat, where he won that big fight there with those curs. He took out all the veteran pikes and the veteran longbow, but hands down to Mac, that raid right over here is really what I think turned the game into his favor. And, you know, he didn't panic, right? He kept getting out units, and he didn't immediately pull all of his vills to his TC. But, yeah, and then really good job playing preventative here. He knew that he was in the driver's seat. He knew that Ag was going to come to him, and he knew he didn't have to be reckless. He just needed to protect his big batches of vills and wait for France to come to him. And then he made the switch to Cav, which I think was really smart. I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, that is some 8D chess there, because I think he realized that, you know, he'd been playing a lot of infantry heavy compositions so far this game, and so that switch to Cav would really throw Ag for a loop. And it certainly did, right? Ag came out with skirms and muskets and a bunch of cannons, and that is absolutely the exact opposite of what you want against Hussar and Dragoon spam. So let's take a look at this game in more detail. Guys, follow me to the vanilla post game. All right, guys, here we are in the post game, and it's Britain versus France. What can you say? I mean, Brit outgathered France by a little bit, though not by that much. So kudos to Ag for keeping up pretty much until the very end, where Mac's economy really started to get out of control. And when we look at the military tab, there's a couple of deceptive stats here, right? We do see a superior military for Mac, though. A lot of his units were those cheap, spammy units like the pikemen. And then we see units killed also in favor of France here. and more units lost for Britain than France. But you have to remember the types of units that they're losing, right? Mac is losing 80 resource pikemen, while Ag is losing 500 resource cannons and 200 resource hussars and 180 resource dragoons. So those trades are not as even as the numbers would make you think. And then when we look at the timeline here, this is the graph I really wanted to look at, was the villager population. And we could see that Ag was getting some nice raids here at the beginning, right? He picks off one vill here, and a couple of vills, 3 vills here. But then the raiding just kind of stops. Mac is able to stabilize. He gets that full manor population, and then he sends the 8 vill card, and it's just off to the races from there. Didn't even need another TC. And then meanwhile, we see a bit of plateauing here from Ag, and then we see that big raid. I mean, he loses 5 vills there alone, lost another vill over here. And remember, these are CDBs. They're extra expensive, so losing them hurts even more than losing a regular vill. But I really enjoyed that. That was a clinic on how historically Britain versus France in this game has always gone, right? France always has to be the one to make a move. They can't sit back, otherwise Britain is always going to outboom them unless you're just playing a bad Brit player. So I like Egg taking the initiative, making the push, going up to H3, but in this case, it just wasn't enough, and Mac was able to hold out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see next week. I've already got the other game for this week planned, but do you want decisives? Do you want more vanilla civs? Do you want 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, high level, low level? Please give me your opinion in the comments below. And we're closing in on 1,000 subs, which is awesome and amazing, and I have nobody but you guys to thank, so I appreciate it very much. Until next week, guys, have a great day, have a great life, see you later.